According to a startling statistic, over 1,000 black bears have been euthanized in Tennessee in the past 5 years alone, with many of these deaths being directly linked to human behavior. This staggering number raises important questions about our relationship with wildlife and the psychology behind our actions. What drives humans to feed black bears, despite the devastating consequences, and how can we change this behavior to prevent further harm? As we delve into the world of human-wildlife conflict, it becomes clear that the recent Tennessee law criminalizing the feeding of black bears is a crucial step towards mitigating this issue. By examining the psychology behind human behavior, we can gain a deeper understanding of why people feel compelled to feed these animals, despite the risks. From a psychological perspective, feeding black bears can be seen as a form of anthropomorphism, where humans attribute human-like qualities to animals, leading to a misguided sense of compassion. As we explore the complexities of human behavior, it's essential to consider the role of cognitive biases in shaping our actions. The affect heuristic, for instance, is a psychological phenomenon where people make decisions based on their emotional responses, rather than objective facts. In the case of feeding black bears, the affect heuristic can lead individuals to prioritize their emotional connection with the animals over the potential harm caused by their actions. Moreover, the availability heuristic can also play a significant role, where people overestimate the importance of vivid, memorable events, such as encounters with black bears, leading to an exaggerated perception of the animal's friendliness. Moving forward, it's crucial to examine the consequences of feeding black bears and the impact on both humans and animals. When we feed black bears, we are not only putting them at risk of euthanization but also increasing the likelihood of aggressive behavior towards humans. This can have devastating consequences, including attacks on people and property damage. Furthermore, feeding black bears can also disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem, leading to a range of negative impacts on the environment. In addition to the ecological consequences, it's also important to consider the psychological factors that drive humans to feed black bears. One key aspect is the concept of attachment theory, which suggests that humans have an inherent desire to form connections with other living beings. While this can be a positive force in many contexts, it can also lead to harmful behavior, such as feeding black bears, when taken to an extreme. By recognizing the psychological roots of this behavior, we can begin to develop more effective strategies for preventing it. As we transition to the next section, it's worth noting that the psychology of human behavior is closely tied to the concept of learned behavior. When we feed black bears, we are essentially teaching them to associate humans with food, which can have long-lasting consequences. This learned behavior can be incredibly difficult to reverse, making it essential to address the issue proactively. Moreover, the principle of operant conditioning, which suggests that behavior is modified by its consequences, can also be applied to this context. By providing alternative rewards, such as educational programs and community engagement, we can encourage people to adopt more positive behaviors towards black bears. Building on this idea, it's essential to explore the role of social influence in shaping our behavior towards black bears. When we observe others feeding these animals, it can create a sense of social norms, leading us to believe that this behavior is acceptable. However, by promoting a culture of coexistence with wildlife, we can work to change these social norms and encourage more responsible behavior. This can be achieved through community-based initiatives, such as workshops and outreach programs, which aim to educate people about the importance of respecting wildlife boundaries. As we consider the complexities of human-wildlife conflict, it's also important to examine the impact of emotional appeals on our behavior. Emotional appeals, such as images of cute or injured animals, can be incredibly powerful in shaping our actions. However, they can also be misleading, leading us to prioritize short-term emotional gains over long-term conservation goals. By recognizing the potential pitfalls of emotional appeals, we can work to develop more nuanced and effective strategies for promoting wildlife conservation. In light of the recent Tennessee law, it's essential to consider the potential consequences of criminalizing the feeding of black bears. While this law may seem drastic, it's a necessary step towards protecting both humans and animals. By providing a clear deterrent, the law can help to reduce the incidence of bear feedings, ultimately leading to a decrease in euthanizations. Moreover, the law can also serve as a catalyst for raising awareness about the importance of wildlife conservation and the need for responsible human behavior. As we move towards a conclusion, it's worth reflecting on the broader implications of human-wildlife conflict. The issue of feeding black bears is not isolated, but rather part of a larger pattern of human behavior that prioritizes short-term gains over long-term sustainability. By addressing this issue, we can work towards creating a more harmonious coexistence with wildlife, one that recognizes the inherent value of these animals and the ecosystems they inhabit. Furthermore, this issue also highlights the importance of interdisciplinary approaches to conservation, which combine insights from psychology, ecology, and policy to develop effective solutions. In the context of psychology, the issue of feeding black bears can be seen as a classic example of the tragedy of the commons. When individual actions, such as feeding black bears, are combined with a lack of regulation and oversight, it can lead to devastating consequences for the collective good. However, by recognizing the psychological and social factors that drive this behavior, we can work to develop more effective solutions that promote cooperation and responsible behavior. Moreover, the concept of moral disengagement, which suggests that people can rationalize harmful behavior by distancing themselves from the consequences, can also be applied to this context. By acknowledging the moral implications of feeding black bears, we can work to promote a sense of personal responsibility and accountability. As we near the end of our exploration, it's essential to consider the role of cognitive dissonance in shaping our behavior towards black bears. When we are confronted with the harm caused by feeding these animals, it can create a sense of discomfort or dissonance. However, rather than changing our behavior, we may instead rationalize or justify our actions, leading to a persistence of harmful behavior. By recognizing the potential for cognitive dissonance, we can work to develop more effective strategies for promoting behavior change, such as providing clear information and incentives for responsible behavior. In conclusion, the issue of feeding black bears is a complex and multifaceted problem that requires a comprehensive approach. By examining the psychology behind human behavior, we can gain a deeper understanding of why people feel compelled to feed these animals, despite the risks. The recent Tennessee law criminalizing the feeding of black bears is a crucial step towards mitigating this issue, but it must be accompanied by education, outreach, and community engagement. As we work towards creating a more harmonious coexistence with wildlife, it's essential to recognize the inherent value of these animals and the ecosystems they inhabit. By taking action to protect black bears and their habitats, we can promote a culture of conservation and responsibility, ultimately leading to a better future for all. As we reflect on the importance of this issue, it's worth considering the potential for individual actions to collectively make a difference. By making conscious choices about our behavior towards black bears, we can contribute to a larger movement towards wildlife conservation and sustainability. Moreover, by sharing our knowledge and experiences with others, we can help to promote a culture of awareness and responsibility, ultimately leading to a reduction in the number of black bear euthanizations. So, let's take action today and work towards creating a world where humans and wildlife can coexist in harmony. If you're interested in learning more about the psychology of human behavior and wildlife conservation, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and let's work together to promote a culture of responsibility and conservation.